There's a problem that can potentially come up in IntelliJ when using Scala 3. That's what I'd like to talk about a little bit. So this issue basically comes up when you're trying to use Scala 3 and it can't find the dotty compiler. And this is usually an issue, and often an issue with the Scala plugin not being up to date. So the issue with moving to Scala 3 in most cases is actually not Scala 3 itself, but the other dependencies we need. Many people use Scala to do Spark programming, and the reality is that Spark just doesn't support Scala 3 out of the box. You can make it work, but if you look at most distributions, they will just support Scala 2. And that is problematic, I think, for any kind of team, any organization, because you don't want to be so much on the bleeding edge that you kind of have to hand roll the dependencies every single time you create the project. I just think that's a dangerous path to go down. However, if you don't have these dependencies, then you can experiment with Scala 3. But I'm just looking at this. This is Spark Scala version compatibility index, and I believe this is Cloudera. Yeah, this is Cloudera. This is just one example, but I think you'll find in other clusters you'll find that a Scala 3 support is just not readily available, unless use this cross compiler bridge. I'm gonna post a link for this into the description, but I would personally not use Scala 3 in a Spark project until it's much better supported by the clusters. Let's get back to the original problem though. Can we use Scala 3 effectively at all on its own? Let's make sure it works in IntelliJ. So let's see if updating the Scala plugin will fix the issue with not finding the compiler bridge. Some documentation indicates that the compiler bridge should be automatically added to the IntelliJ configuration if the plugin is up to date. So if I update, it's actually pretty old if I look at the version I have here. So let's say click update. Okay, so I restarted IntelliJ, and let's run it again. It's the same problem. Didn't make any difference. And we definitely know that this time the plugin is up to date. So if I go into settings, I go into plugins, and the plugin that no longer shows an option of updating. So we have the latest plugin, and it still is an issue, unfortunately. Okay, so I finally figured out how I can get rid of this problem. It is just I was too much on the bleeding edge. So I guess when you're configuring a Scala 3 project, you have to make sure that this will actually run fine if you just run it in the SBT shell. So basically, if you just run SBT, it's gonna work fine. It's going to run it. But if you run it like this in IntelliJ, it's not going to run it. So I import it into IntelliJ, and then I get the error. But if I change this to 313, then I am able to run it. So let's just save this and re-import it and run it again. again. Let's see. Actually, this should work. Let's see. Let's go in here and yeah, so now it runs it. So basically you have to make sure you're not too much on the cutting edge with Scala 3, with the Scala 3 version, because it might not match up with the plugin. I think that's what's the real problem is. It's looking for an up-to-date plugin, and if you're just using the absolute latest version, IntelliJ's plugin, which is dated at 2022. So if you go into settings and I look at the Scala plugin, the Scala plugin is dated 2022 117. Obviously that's not super recent, and if I'm gonna use a Scala version from 2 months ago, I think that's where the issue was. They can be too much on the cutting edge. That's it.